1974, a young poet by the name of Judy Grahn showed up in New York City. A small reading was hastily arranged. Someone asked Honor Moore to attend.
She is this amazing poet from San Francisco, and she's reading at West Beth tonight. Maybe you could tell Adrienne.
Rich, Moore, and about a dozen others got together to hear a new poet read a long poem called A Woman is Talking to Death. This was one of the main ways new poetry got around in those pre-internet days.
It was in a very bare room, sort of fluorescent lights and ugly chairs. And I remember Judy being at that time a small, wiry, fierce presence.
She was a dyke. She dressed very boyishly. She was working class. So she had sort of the female equivalent of sort of a Johnny Cash presence.
And she's in this kind of trance. And she says, one. Testimony and trials.
Testimony and trials that never got heard. My lover's teeth are white geese flying above me. My lover's muscles are rope ladders under my hands.
And she goes on, and it's like you're suddenly in this dimension. You know, it's not diving into the wreck, and it's not an Audre Lorde poem, and it's not a Sylvia Plath poem. It's something else.
Oh, it's a great poem, epic poem. She manages to conjure the denial of death, the denial of mortality that fuels a lot of what we then call patriarchy.
Perhaps echoing Sylvia Plath's The Applicant, the poem includes this mock interrogation.
Have you ever held hands with a woman? Yes, many times. Women about to deliver, women about to have breasts removed, wombs removed, miscarriages, women having epileptic fits, having asthma, cancer, women having breast bone marrow sucked out of them, and women who were happy, who were celebrating, who were dancing with me or in large circles or alone, women who were climbing mountains or up and down walls or trucks or roofs and needed a boost up, or I did, women who simply wanted to hold my hand because they liked me, some women who wanted to hold my hand because they liked me better than anyone.
It's all at this extraordinary level of intensity, and it's about a feminist sensibility that includes poverty, that includes people of another race, that is not anti-male, that is, I love women.
What about kissing? Have you kissed any women? I have kissed many women.
It was so exciting. I was so excited that I'd been there.
The poetry readings were almost like a ritual for this new community and culture that was evolving. We were defining culture outside the boundaries that we were taught in school. And we were claiming culture for ourselves.
Here's Judy Grahn today, reading a poem she wrote in the 1970s.
You are what is female. You shall be called Eve, and what is masculine shall be called God. And from your name, Eve, we shall take the word evil, and from God's, the word good. Now you understand patriarchal morality.
Oh, wow. Judy said that was supposed to be funny. Welcome, welcome, welcome to I'm Not a Girl, I'm a Hatchet. I've been waiting all day to say that out loud. My name is Michelle Antoinette Nelson, aka Love the Poet. You can clap for me, make me feel good about myself. I'm your host for the evening. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. we have some ground rules before we get started. Not too many. We know how y'all feel about that. The first is you can turn your cell phones to vibrate. We do not mind vibrate. Don't do that. Please, you are allowed in this venue to film and take pictures, and we ask that you share this work. Is there an ad that we should shout out, Elizabeth? Should they tag something?
Oh yeah, Parkside Lounge.
Okay,
Yeah.
tag Parkside Lounge, because that's where you are right now. Yeah, do that.
Yes.
And the third thing is, we have books. Judy has books for sale in the back, $20. I hear your exclamations. I plan on seeing everyone back there buying a book. Thank you very much for your reaction. So we are on this day paying homage to Dr. Judy Grahn. The internationally known poet, activist, and cultural theorist. Her writings have helped to fuel the cultural feminism, LGBTQIA+, women's spirituality, menstrual liberation, and eco movements. Yes. And we are really excited for the artists that are in the building this evening doing this tribute. Yeah. This is a stacked event. You're gonna feel all the feels, you're gonna go through all the emotions, and I'm super excited to go through it with you. So without further ado, we're gonna start clapping right now for this person that I'm about to bring up. Come on, let's do it. Come on, work with me. Yes. The first performance of the stage, please get up for Karen Finley.
Judy, thank you for everything that you've done and all of your contributions. I owe so much to you, and thank you for your work. I feel that because of you, I've been able to accomplish a little bit. I want to thank you so much.
I'm not a girl, I'm a hatchet. I'm not a hole, I'm a whole mountain. I'm not a fool, I'm a survivor. I'm not a pearl, I'm the Atlantic Ocean. I'm not a good lay, I'm a straight razor. Look at me, as if you had never seen a woman before. I have red hands and much bitterness.
And now, I'd like to invite Judy Grahn to the stage. Let's give her a big welcome.
Thank you, Karen, so much for your words. So this is another one of those old poems. Oh yes, glasses, I forgot them. I am the wall at the lip of the water. I'm the rock that refused to be battered. I'm the dike in the matter, the other. I'm the wall with the womanly swagger. I'm the dragon, the dangerous dagger. I'm the bull dyke, the bull dagger. And I've been many a wicked grandmother, and I shall be many a wicked daughter.
Let's give another round for you. And also thank you everyone for being
wonderful to be here tonight, isn't it, on this Friday in this room and with the poetry in your words, and to honor you. Slowly, a plain song from an older woman to a younger woman. Am I not olden, olden, olden? It is unwanted. Wanting, wanting. Am I not broken, stolen, common? Am I not crinkled, cranky, poison? Am I not glinty, eyed, and frozen? Am I not aged, shaky, glazing? Am I not hazy, guarded, craven? Am I not only stingy, little? Am I not simple, brittle, spitting? Was I not overridden? It is a long story. Will you be proud to be my version? It is unwritten. Writing, writing. Am I not ancient, raging, patient? Am I not able, charming, stable? Am I not building, forming, braving? Was I not ruling, guiding, naming? Was I not brazen, crazy, chosen? Even the stones would do my bidding. It is a long story. Am I not proud to be your version? It is unspoken, speaking, speaking. Am I not elder, berry, brandy? Are you not wine before you find me in your own beaker? Do you not turn away your shoulder? Have I not shut my mouth against you? Are you not shamed to treat me meanly when you discover you become me? Are you not proud that you become me? I will not shut my mouth against you. Do you not turn away your shoulder? We who brew in the same bitters that boil us away, we both need stronger water. We're touched by a similar nerve. I am like your daughter. I am the will and the riverbed made bolder. By you, the oldest river, you are the way. Are we not olden, olden, olden?
Oh yeah, give it up one more time for Karen, Finley, and Judy Grahn. Up next, I'd like to welcome to the stage Alicia Mountain.
Perfect fit. We're gonna have to also applaud all of the knees of the readers getting up and down this stage tonight. The body, beautiful. What an honor to be here, and thank you everyone for joining us tonight. It really does feel like Judy Grahn's in town, you gotta be there. And I'm sure someone will make announcements, but there's an event tomorrow too. So tell your friends who couldn't be here tonight that they can catch Judy tomorrow on her big New York tour before she wraps up. So I'm first going to read a little bit from my introduction to the new edition of The Highest Apple. Judy wrote this book first in 1985, and it covers all the groundwork that you need to explore lesbian poetry, written in English, and ancient lesbian poetry. It covers a lot of ground, but then it was tragically out of print for some time. And so Judy Enzer at Sinister Wisdom shot me a note and asked if Elise, Nora, and I would like to co-edit a reissue, which meant that we got to write some fun front matter, and also to bring in contemporary poets to be in conversation with this really important work, and talk about how it's impacting and influencing our thinking in 2024. That includes folks like Tonica Kelly, Kim Shuck, Tsarina Chopra, Zoe Tuck, Soretta Morgan, and Khadijah Queen. And Judy's writing about Sappho, Dickinson, Lowell, H.D., Gertrude Stein, Adrienne Rich, Paula Gunn Allen. I'm just reading from the back at this point. Audre Lorde, Pat Parker, Olga Brumaus, because she's covering so much ground that I can't keep it all in my head. Fortunately for all of you, I think there are copies for sale at the back, so you can go home with this. But I'm going to give you a little taste, just in terms of my thinking about what Judy really illuminates. And we're going to hear a lot of Judy's creative work tonight, but she's also a really meaningful scholar. And so this is my reflections on that. And I'm a poet writing prose here, so forgive me. But I appreciate your bearing with. And mostly I'm talking about Sappho, which is Judy's anchor and point of entry in The Highest Apple. This is a quote from Judy. After Sappho, the others of us who are doing this work sit mending tears in the fabrics of our myth also, mending the tears in the tales Sappho said love weaves, mending the tapestries the old women storytellers once made of the substance of a holistic life. So Judy makes three of the simplest points in this text, but they continue to astonish me. First, Grahn writes, quote, I comprehend Sappho not as the first woman poet, but as the last of the great era, and the only one to have some fragments survive. As a literary scholar and a lesbian too, I'd been trained to think of Sappho as the earliest forebearer of women in poetry and of Sapphic culture. I'd conceptualized my timeline with Sappho at the beginning, because I thought we didn't have any evidence for earlier women poets who'd laid the foundation for her. After reading The Highest Apple, I've come to realize that Sappho's extant work is the evidence of other women poets having laid a foundation so that this exceptionally gifted one from Lesbos found such renown and her songs so saturated her world that they have survived millennia. Of course, she and we had ancestors whose names have been lost. Second, Sappho's poetry wasn't only for people like herself, lesbian poet women. It was for everyone in her world. Her poems are rich with imagery of religious rituals, men at war, the fruits of agriculture, parenthood, friendship, devotion in many configurations. I find myself delighted by the fact that Sappho wrote songs that straight people loved too. While contemporary lesbian poetry might be treated as a subordinate literature, Sappho wasn't pigeonholed. This woman poet was a central and esteemed cultural figure in her world. And third, Judy writes, quote, what was her world like? Well, for one thing, it loved her. I like to read that question, what was her world like, and answer out loud. For one thing, it loved her. And to really let it sink in. There was a world that loved a lesbian woman poet. When I say it out loud, it helps me believe that it could be real, that that world was already once real and could be so again. And though much of Sappho's vast body of work has not survived, the love her world had for her buoyed these fragments across vast and perilous time. I imagine her world must have loved me also, thousands of years before my birth, having cherished her enough to keep her poem gifts that they might reach us too. To recap, there was an ancient poet named Sappho. She was a woman. She loved other women. She wasn't the first. She wasn't the last. She had company in this. She wasn't alone. Her writing was respected, admired, acclaimed, desired. She lived in a world that loved her. In 2024, these simple truths still bring me to my knees. Throughout The Highest Apple, Judy roots us in these principles. She examines a legacy of lesbian poets and poetics through the lens of Sappho, reminding us that these lineages are both vast and varied. Like Sappho, who did not write of lesbian love out of a negative comparison with heterosexual love, nor by contrasting its merits with anything else, nor by rationalizations, Judy shows us this body of literature stands on its own. This is vital reading, not just for those of us interested in queer poetry or poetry by women, but for anyone concerned with the subjective, the lyric, class and race and literature, myth-making, religion, the body, place, war, love, on and on, what I'll sum up by calling humanity. Describing Sappho's central role in this world that loved her, Judy explains, quote, "As a poet of her whole society, she wrote stories illustrative of the doings of the gods, both masculine and feminine, wrote instructions for the appropriate behavior with respect to the gods and to human society. She wrote wedding songs as well as overtly lesbian love lyrics, for which she is so famed and ill-famed. She used an internal subjective voice in an objective public manner." I'll wrap this up by saying I lament that The Highest Apple was out of print for some decades because we needed this book. I'm convinced it has instructions for how to build a public world that loves lesbian woman poet subjectivities, by which I mean a world that loves anyone whose own subjectivity has been shaped in some way by lesbian people or women or poets, by which I mean a world that loves all of us, a world that loves you. And then I was invited to share just a poem of my own that, has some Judy Grahn in the back of its mind for sure, about pride and standing in truth. And this is called Rewinding the Lesbian Sex Scene on a Flight from Denver. And I like to say, it's exactly what it sounds like. There were years I feigned sleep to close the eyes of desire. Years I tried to see truth only in periphery. Years I tried to look anywhere else. The entangled couple beside me, their sock feet, the cloud caught in their small view of the open sky, wisping itself apart. There were years I stayed a satellite far above the earth. I am still looking over my shoulder for whoever whispered my shame to me. I am watching them walk down the aisle. I am trying to keep my elbows and knees out of their way. I am reclining my seat every inch of unconfinement it will yield, which is not much. So I am held close to this reflection. Spit-slick lips and hands in hair and reaching inside, and what I know well, head out of the frame, my gaze held unbroken by their bodies. Who said you can't drag your finger back across the screen of what you want? Who said you can't do it over again and again? Who said you can't ask for more? Who guilted my fingerprints into anything but a caress smudged across our surface? Whoever you are, whoever you were, look over my shoulder. Watch me fall in love, seeing myself in economy, in the thin air, seatbelt at my waist, like I am something to protect for this duration, like her hands on my hips, pulling. Thank you.
Alicia Mountain, everyone. Keep clapping. The next grouping of poems are from The Common Woman, published in 1969. Okay, go ahead, clap. Come on. This is interactive. If you feel it, do it. Linda Garber wrote, "With these poems, Grahn made a central contribution to feminist poetry, for she demonstrated how poetry can unify women as they celebrate each other's lives and identify common oppressions. And yet, at the same time, she offered a poetics in which difference figures as a central operating principle. Let's hit the track for the first one, shared by Ani DeFranco. And please welcome Ann Stephenson, Elizabeth Koke, and Judy Grahn to the stage.
Well, right now I'm going to read a poem written by a woman named Judy Grahn, who is one of my favorite poets on the earth, and in, on, and about this round planet of ours. And she wrote this monolithic poem called "A Woman Is Talking to Death" that I can't read to you because it'll take all night. Of course. I was waiting for it. Thanks. But well, this one, I don't know. When I decided to sing that last song, I found this poem and it reminded me of me sitting in Kennedy Airport with my little shaved head and my carry-on. You know, I'm going where they're nice. Yeah, right. Okay, well, this one is called Detroit Annie Hitchhiking, and it's by Judy Grahn. Her words pour out as if her throat were a broken artery and her mind were cut glass, carelessly handled. You imagine her in a huge velvet hat with great dangling black feathers, but she shaves her head instead and goes for 3-day midnight walks. Sometimes she goes down to the dock and dances off the end of it simply to prove her belief that people who cannot walk on water are phonies, or dead. When she is cruel, she is very, very cool. And when she's kind, she is lavish. Fishermen think perhaps she's a fish, but they're all fools. She figured out that the only way to keep from being frozen was to stay in motion, and long ago converted most of her flesh to liquid. Now when she smells danger, she spills herself all over like gasoline and lights it. She leaves the taste of salt and iron under your tongue, but you don't mind. A common woman is as common as the reddest wine.
I just quickly want to say, is this thing on? I get to borrow this one first. I just quickly want to say what an honor it is to be here, celebrating the work of Judy on the stage with Judy now, and in this very fine company. So thank you so much for the invitation. Helen, at 9 a.m., at noon, at 5:15. Her ambition is to be more shiny and metallic, black and purple as a thief at midday, trying to make it in a male form. She's become as stiff as possible, wearing trim suits and spike heels. She says bust instead of breast. Somewhere underneath, she misses love and trust, but she feels that spite and malice are the prices of success. She doesn't realize yet that she's missed success also, so her smile is sometimes still genuine. After a while, she'll be a real killer, bitter and more wily, better at pitting the men against each other and getting the other women fired. She constantly conspires. Her grief expresses itself in fits of fury over details. Details take the place of meaning. Money takes the place of life. She believes that people are lice who eat her, so she bites first. Her thirst increases year by year, and by the time the sheen has disappeared from her black hair and tensions makes her features unmistakably ugly, she'll go mad. No one in particular will care. As anyone who's had her for a boss will know, the common woman is as common as the common crow.
This is Carol in the park, chewing on straws. She has taken a woman lover, whatever shall we do? She has taken a woman lover, how lucky it wasn't you. And all the day through she smiles and lies and grits her teeth and pretends to be shy or weak or busy. Then she goes home and pounds her own nails, makes her own bets, and fixes her own car with her friend. She goes as far as women can go without protection from men. On weekends, she dreams of becoming a tree that dreams it is ground up and sent to the paper factory, where it lies helpless in sheets until it dreams of becoming a paper airplane and rises on its own current, where it turns into a bird, a great coasting bird that dreams of becoming more free even than that, a feather finally, or a piece of air with lightning in it. She has taken a woman lover, whatever can we say? She walks around all day quietly, but underneath it, she's electric. Angry energy inside a passive form. The common woman is as common as a thunderstorm.
Vera, from my childhood, solemnly swearing to swear as an oath to you, who have somehow gotten to be a pale old woman, swearing as if an oath could be wrapped around your shoulders like a new coat. For your $28 a week and the bastard boss you never let yourself hate, and the work, all the work you did home where you never got paid. For your mouth that got thinner and thinner until it disappeared as if you had choked on it, watching the hard liquor break your fine husband down into a dead choke. For the strange mole, like a third eye, right in the middle of your forehead. For your religion, which insisted that people are beautiful golden birds and must be preserved. For your persistent nerve and plain smart talk. The common woman is as common as good bread, as common as when you couldn't go on, but did. For all the world we didn't know we held in common all along. The common woman is as common as the best of bread, and will rise, and will become strong. I swear it to you. I swear it to you on my own head. I swear it to you on my common woman's head.
Thank you.
Oh, one more time for Ann Stephenson, Elizabeth Koke, and Judy Grahn. Up next, please welcome to the stage, Nath Ann Carrera.
Well, I am so thrilled and honored to be here tonight, and that was beautiful. I first found out about Judy's work picking up a copy of Another Mother Tongue in San Francisco, which is one of the foremost queer mythology, queer spirituality texts of my queer coming of age. But I'm going to do a song that I wrote somewhat recently, this year, that I thought might share space with some of the themologies of Judy's poetry tonight. And it's about some of my favorite criminal protagonists, who are all played by a Brooklyn orphan turned teenage showgirl turned Broadway turned movie star named Barbara Stanwyck, who, as you may know, seemed to be a closeted lesbian, seemed to share some fences with Joan Crawford and other people of note who were more openly bisexual at the very least. And you know, in an encompassing way. But, you know, I'm talking about the studio lots and what you would, you know, admit to get apart, which is the Joan Crawford line. Because she would basically barter which actresses she had slept with to get certain roles. And I think Barbara may have been on that list. But this is basically some of, you know, my favorite criminal protagonist moments, even though it's told through a Hollywood lens. But I recently read an intro of Judy's where she was talking about a working class aesthetic and writing, naming multiple events in one piece, rather than, I'm paraphrasing, but rather than focusing on one or two things in greater detail, which is a commonplace in a lot of my working class writing. So yeah, this is about Barbara Stanwyck movies, among other things. Watching your father burn to death in a whiskey still fire with an indifferent gaze, throwing some scissors into your racist stepmother's face with a perfect still liberating strains of a showgirl turned criminal. Breaking beer bottles over a groping policeman's head before calmly taking a swig. A gambling card shark casing the rich on a high-end cruise ship, sweeping in all their chips, still liberating strains of a showgirl turned criminal. A lesbian brothel madam who loved sculpted women's hands, a night-clubbing hoofer teaching street slang on the land, a bank-robbing jewel thief cell with cigar-smoking ladies, a domesticity columnist who hates home ec and babies, a working-class waitress sleeping her way to the fulfillment of her Nietzschean destiny.
Nath Ann Carrera. Cheers. Up next, please welcome to the stage, Justin Vivian Bond.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm very honored to be here. I worked at a Different Light bookstore in San Francisco from 1989 to 1994. So on behalf of all the bookstore queens, we honor you. This is a song by a trans woman from San Francisco named Bambi Lake. San Francisco, long ago, I made my living hooking on Koke Street and the old black rose. My eye was always looking for some dumb man to pay my rent and some young man to love me. With so many, heaven said, I thank the stars above me. Sticks and stones can break my bones, but names can never hurt me. The queens and the hustlers of the red light zones never did desert me. Golden girls and boys on must like chimney sweepers come to dust. It's hard to find someone you can trust amidst the rhinestones and the rust. In the olden days, the golden age of hustlers, I saw the best bodies of my generation sold, bartered, and destroyed by drugs and prostitution. The pretty queens on the corners and midnight cowboys in the doorways. If you want it, Daddy, here it is. It's a candy store in more ways than one. Sticks and stones can break my bones, but names can never hurt me. The queens and the hustlers of the red light zones never did desert me. Golden girls and boys all must like chimney sweepers come to dust. It's hard to find someone you can trust amidst the rhinestones and the rust. In the olden days, the golden age of hustlers. Prettiest boy I ever saw was San Jose Johnny the Libra. Don't make him like that anymore. Baby-faced gentleman outlaw. Some of the Queen King with some of the boys became like kings and stayed down there forever. And some of the girls became like stars with money, clothes, and fancy cars. Sticks and stones can break my bones, but names can never hurt me. The queens and the hustlers of the red light zones never the golden age of hustlers. In the olden days, the golden age of hustlers.
Oh, keep clapping for Justin, Vivian Bond, and Nath Ann Carrera. I love the collaboration. That was beautiful. Up next to the stage, please give it up for J.P. Howard.
Hi y'all, that was wonderful. I never took you the time I saw you just want to be in the audience, but I'm excited to be here. I'm lucked out. I've been with Judy 3 times this week, early in the week and also tomorrow. So even though I'm a grown-ass woman, there's a part of me that's up here that's like a fangirl inside. I discovered Judy's work when I was in college. I went to Barnard, and I discovered her work around the same time I discovered Pat Parker. I came out probably soon after, so thank you. My voice. Sharing 3 poems. 2 of them are mine, one of them is Judy's. I'm going to start with my poem first. Praise poem for today. Praise the first poet you ever read. Praise Mama who asked you to recite her favorite Margaret Walker poem to church ladies at Abyssinia every Sunday when you were in elementary school. Praise sound of your voice then and now. Praise your inner child and her will to survive. Praise Mama's cycle of sadness. Praise all those tears you shed. Praise that couple who cried when they heard your Trayvon poems. Praise black boys you wrapped in stanzas. Praise sons who live on through candlelight vigils. Praise your shattered past and your unknown future. Praise sweet sounds of words on your tongue before they stain the sheet. Praise poets who split themselves open to save lives. Praise all the poems you don't want to write, but will, to save your own damn life. Praise secrets that burn the page. Praise ex-lovers who will never die as long as you write. Praise beauty of a new poem pushing her way to surface. Praise her shape on the page as she unfolds. The name of this poem is My Name is Judith. My name is Judith, meaning she who is praised. I do not want to be called praise. I want to be called the power of love. If love means protect, then whenever I do not defend you, I cannot call my name love. If love means rebirth, then when I see us dead on our feet, I cannot call my name love. If love means provide, and I cannot provide for you, why would you call my name love? Do not mistake my breasts for mounds of potatoes, or my belly for a great roast duck. Do not take my lips for a streak of luck, nor my neck for an appetite. Do not believe my eyes are a warm swarm of bees. Do not get love mixed up with me. Don't misunderstand my hands for a church with a steeple. Open the fingers and out come the people. Nor take my feet to be acres of solid brown earth or anything else of infinite worth. To you, my brawny turtle dove, do not get me mixed up with love. Not until we have ground we call our own to stand on, and weapons of our own in hand, and some kind of friends around us, will anyone ever call our name love? And then when we do, we will all call ourselves grand, musically names, the protection of love, the provision of love, and the power of love. Until then, my sweethearts, let us speak simply of romance, which is so much easier and so much less than any of us deserve. And this poem is called If This Is My Last Poem. If this is my last poem, let it be love. Let it be forgiveness and hallelujah and Holy Ghost and hell yeah, wrapped in sparkling yarn. If this is my last poem, let it be a praise poem. Fill it with hope and joy and let it scream so fucking loud that everybody will clap. Clap, 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 clap. If this is my last poem, stop for the sound of my voice. Let this breath, this life, these full lips exhale. If this is my last poem, hold it gently in your hands. Hand it around. Grab hands, y'all. Fold it into an origami blue jay and let her fly away. If this is my last poem, forgive it for loving too hard, or not loving hard enough, or for wanting to be loved more than it would admit. If this is my last poem, hold a mirror up to it. Say, look how beautiful you are. Say, remember your reflection. Thank you, y'all.
J.P. Howard, everybody. Oh, yeah. Please welcome to the stage, welcome back to the stage, Ann Stephenson. Hold on. Check 1, 2.
Thank you so much. Hello again. JP, that was amazing. Oh my God. Also, a round of applause for Love the Poet. I am going to read a poem called History, If I Could Put You, from the Queen of Wands. History, if only I could put you in my little bowl. Cherish for your real self, you, source of what follows and goes before. Flama, name, story. History, if only I could smoke you, suck you up into my brain's blood like a memory of what really happened. All the sides of it, the middle, top, and bottom, including the beautiful, the boredom, including the painful burning parts, my own part, wrong, right, and indifferent, wisdom and war, love and foolery. History, little golden glow of understanding. Let me blow and blow on your heart. Tell me something. Tell me truly.
Okay. Ann Stephenson, everyone. And now, we regret to present Vinsantos.
What did you call me?
There she Vinsantos.
Hi. My name is Vinsantos, and I've been having a crisis of identity lately. And I don't know, growing up I called myself all kinds of things and wasn't sure who I was. And started to make things up along the way. And for a while I was this, for a while I was that. And finally I came out and felt like pretty good about it. And then I thought like, oh, no, those words aren't really working for me, so I would take old words that were used to hurt me and reclaim them and think like that was pretty badass. And then suddenly those words became mainstream. And I thought, well, who the fuck am I? So I'm here to come out once again tonight as a gay man. And I know what you're thinking, that man is wearing a lot of makeup, but it is actually men's makeup. There's a special section at CVS. It's very hard to get to because it's locked behind glass. So I did a lot of work to be here tonight. Who's the stage manager?
Yeah.
Just this last summer, I found myself on tour with some of my idols. They were a big band in the 90s, and the demographic of the crowd spanned 40 years, and even longer because a lot of them brought their children into the mix. And so I was just playing for like the biggest cross-culture of people that I could ever imagine. And it was during June, and it was, you know, which is known as the month of our people. I thought like I could like do my normal thing and just like go totally goth, or I could gay it up a little bit. And so I wrote this song as a tribute to some of my heroes, one which may be standing behind me judging me right now.
young Judy, she served out her duties. Now she's wearing impossible heels. Her toes bleeding, still she marched, leading all the gays all the way to the street. And it's why you and I are free. It's why I'm free. They all came here to smear the quiz, but we're free. They all came here to smear the queer, but you're free. They all came here to smear the queer, but I'm free. They all came here to smear the quiz, but we're free. They all came here to smear the quiz, but you're free. They all came here to smear the quiz, but I'm free. And now for a special surprise. The reason I'm really here it's twofold. One, my husband and co-producer of this event, Mr. Gregory, has been working with Judy almost as long as I've been alive, because everyone knows I'm only 26. And some years back we had all embarked on this project to create an album based on Judy's words, and I was asked to write a song, and I did, and I recorded it, and it was fierce. And when I was recording it, Judy was not around, and so I had my friend Monique from San Francisco step in and do some spoken word on it. But tonight, Monique is in San Francisco, so lucky for you, you're about to get the real deal. This song and poem is called Sheep.
Start to run, then freeze. The first four leaders had broken knees. Why is the flock so docile as the hawk? Is why is the flock so docile? Laughed the dog. The shepherd's mallet is in his hand. The shepherd's hand, it's on the land. The flock would start to run, then freeze. The first four leaders had broken knees. The dog explained. The hawk explained. The shepherd leads an easy life. I know, cried the shepherd's wife. He dresses me out in a narrow skirt and leaves me home to clean his dirt. Whenever I try to run, I freeze. All the old dams have broken
his breaking power to bear on me, said the hawk, flying into the sun, while the dog warned in his dog run. Hawk, the shepherd has bought a gun. Why is the hawk so docile? Asked the flock. He fell to the ground in a feathery breeze. He lies in a dumb lump under the trees. We'd rather have broken knees than lose our blood and suddenly freeze like him.
But the oldest dam gave a leg and said, some die slow and some die quick. A few run away and the rest crawl. But the shepherd never dies at all. Damn his soul. I will my wool to the shepherd's wife. If she could change the shepherd's life. But I myself would bring him love. If only I knew how.
Vinsantos and Judy Grahn. Yes. Vinsantos.
I'm going to read a poem. This is from 1967. It's called The Elephant Poem, with my apologies to real elephants who have troubles of their own. Suppose you have an elephant with 56 millimeter trunk, and say he's tearing up the jungle. So you think he's drunk or crazy. How are you going to bring that elephant down? Lion can't, bear could but don't want to, and the panther's too small for that job. Then suppose you have an elephant with a 1,000,000 millimeter trunk, and his jungle is the whole green world. And drunk and crazy. You see the problem. One more word about elephants. No matter how hard they try, elephants cannot pick their noses any more than bankers can hand out money, or police put away their pistols, or politicians get right with God. A sty in the elephant's eye ain't nothing, but a fly in his nose is a serious, if not fatal, condition. When the fly gets into that nostril, it begins to swell and stay closed. He can't smell, can't drink, can't think, can't get one up on anybody. He begins to regret all that flabby ammunition hanging on him. He begins to wish he'd been a little more barefaced, like an ape or fish. All those passageways he needs to feed himself tied up. Elephant turned upside down by a fly. 1,000,000 flies outweigh a trunk, a tank, a bank. 1,000,000 flies outthink a pile of IBM junk. We must be wise to the elephant's lies. You may think we should try to sober him up, but the trouble isn't that he's drunk. The trouble is that he's an elephant with multi-millimeter trunk who believes the world is his jungle. And until he dies, he grows and grows. We must be flies in the elephant's nose, ready to carry on in every town. You know they're butterflies. They're horse flies and house flies, blue flies, shoe flies, and it's not true flies. Then there are mayflies and wood flies, but I'm talking about can flies and dew flies, glow flies, show flies, and make it so flies, dragonflies and fireflies in the elephant's nose, ready to carry on till he goes down.
Judy Grahn. Check. Oh, there we are. Judy Grahn. Please welcome back to the stage, Karen Finley.
Hello? This is just wonderful. What an incredible evening. And thank you for letting me come back on the stage. I wanted, and I was talking to Gregory a little bit about the poem that, the section I'm going to read from, which is a woman is talking to death. And Gregory thought that I should tell my personal story with the poem, and so I'm going to do that now. I have to watch because I'll just start to cry too much. But thank you, Judy, for your work and for this, for all of your work, and for creating your poem and putting it in this small book. This is a small, I think they would call it a broadsheet. It's only 20 pages
And it was first published in 1974 and then in 1977 by Diana Press in Oakland. And I want to, before I read the poem, I want to really honor to think about the people, the women who were publishers of the work and the radicalness of that gesture and to make that work available. And so I was a very young, emerging freshman at the San Francisco Art Institute, and I found this pamphlet, broadsheet, in the basement of the City Lights. And it had such an impact on me because there's the drawings in it, but also the idea of, and Gregory said I could talk about this, so I just wanted to let you know I thought, so I'm not prepared, so I'm just speaking extemporaneously. But it was just so moving to me, your words, because this poem is an extended poem. It has different sections, and the way that you constructed it, the extension, and then it not having to be linear, the way that you had the vignettes, but yet then you had the repetition, and the way you changing the voices and even the point of view. It really just opened up for me, and it gave me such faith for me to be thinking that I could have a future. And the idea of publishing too, that even just these 20 pages that you did put out, and that I did not find at that time that there were, the people that were being published were primarily men, and it just had such an impact on me. The desire in the work, the passion in the work, your deliberateness and your fierceness, and it gave me a tremendous amount of strength. And I feel that a lot of my writing for my performance really was impassioned by then thinking about within that moment, and in that moment when I was and I found it. And I cherish the publishers too. I really want to be thinking about that. All of that work that took to be done, and there was no grants or anything to do this. You're doing it just, whatever. So I honor that, and I hope we can continue that
We
today.
stole everything.
And so now I'm going to, and even just, it's so beautiful. It's like a gray-green paper, and there's a texture, and just the aesthetics of it and the drawings. So in this section of this poem, I'm going to be reading the fourth, and also I just say the first part on the Oakland Bridge is just so powerful, and I thank you for that too, thinking about that. A mock interrogation. Have you ever held hands with a woman? Yes, many times. Women about to deliver, women about to have breasts removed, wombs removed, miscarriages, women having epileptic fits, having asthma, cancer, women having breast bone marrow sucked out of them by nervous or indifferent interns, women with heart conditions who are vomiting, overdressed, depressed, drunk, lonely to the point of extinction, women who had been run over, beaten up, deserted, starved, women who had been bitten by rats, and women who were happy, who were celebrating, who were dancing with me in large circles or alone, women who were climbing mountains or up and down walls or trucks or roofs and needed a boost up, or I did, women who simply wanted to hold my hand because they liked me, some women who wanted to hold my hand because they liked me better than anyone. These were many women. Yes, many. What about kissing? Have you kissed any women? I have kissed many women. When was the first woman you kissed with serious feeling? The first woman ever I kissed was Josie, who I had loved at such a distance for months. Josie was not only beautiful, she was tough and handsome too. Josie had black hair and white teeth and strong brown muscles. Then she dropped out of school unexplained. When she came back for one day only, to finish the term, and there was a child in her. She was all shame, pain, and defiance. Her eyes were dark as the water under a bridge, and no one would talk to her. They laughed and threw things at her. In the afternoon, I walked across the front of the class and looked deep into Josie's eyes, and I picked up her chin with my hand because I loved her, because nothing like her trouble would ever happen to me, because I hated it that she was pregnant and unhappy and an outcast. We were 13. You didn't kiss her? How does it feel to be 13 and having a baby? You didn't actually kiss her? Not in fact. You have kissed other women. Yes, many. Some of the finest women I know. I've kissed women who were lonely, women I didn't know and didn't want to, but kissed because that was a way to say, yes, we are still alive and lovable. Those separate women who recognized the loneliness in me. Women who were hurt. I confess to kissing the top of a 55-year-old woman's head in the snow in Boston. Who was hurt more deeply than I have ever been hurt. And I wanted her as a very few people have wanted me. I wanted her and me to own and control and run the city we lived in, to staff the hospital I knew would mistreat her, to drive the transportation system that had betrayed her, to patrol the streets controlling the men who would murder or disfigure or disrupt us, not accidentally with machines, but on purpose, because we are not allowed out on the street alone. Have you ever committed any indecent acts with women? Yes, many. I am guilty of allowing suicidal women to die before my eyes or in my ears or under my hands because I thought I could do nothing. I'm guilty of leaving a prostitute who held a knife to my friend's throat to keep us from leaving because we would not sleep with her. We thought she was old and fat and ugly. I am guilty of not loving her who needed me. I regret all the women I have not slept with or comforted, who pulled themselves away from me for lack of something I had not the courage to fight for us. Our life, our planet, our city, our meat and potatoes, our love. These are indecent acts, lacking courage, lacking a certain fire behind the eyes, which is the symbol, the raised fist, the sharing of resources, the resistance that tells death he will starve for lack of fat of us, our extra. Yes, I have committed acts of indecency with women, and most of them were acts of omission. I regret them bitterly.
Welcome to the stage, Stephen, Ira.
Hi. Wow. This is incredible. I can't believe I'm here. I was just saying to Elizabeth, how did you know to ask me to do this? Because I don't think that we've ever spoken about, like, explicitly about Judy's work, but I think that was somehow what we were speaking about all the time throughout our whole friendship. And you just knew. I thought that I'm actually like Vinsantos. I'm also here to come out to you. I think it will not shock our audience tonight that although I appear before you today in this form, I have had many forms. Well, let me just, I wrote something, didn't I? Yeah. When Elizabeth Koke asked me to perform in honor of Judy Grahn, it activated every Dyke filament in my body, which are actually more than you might think. One of my forms was as a wild brat baby butch in Los Angeles in in 2006. And I would have wheeled on you in trans rage if you had ever called me that. Because I thought that if I admitted that was true, that I would just disappear or something. Or I would never be able to get a sex change. I think that's mostly what I was worried about. But I was always running around with butches and cars, because if I was going to be a man, what should a man do in his life but smoke cigarettes with butches and cars? And compete with them for the hearts of beautiful women who played the guitar. And there was a leather dyke with a motorcycle in her 40s named Lola, and she kept watch over us, sort of. I think maybe we were watching Lola too. She needed supervision. But once at a vegan restaurant, I remember Lola paid everybody's tab. Because we were this huge group of insane teenage dykes, and we didn't realize that there was like an additional gratuity because there were so many of us. And I had money, because you see, I come from money, but none of the people or the places with money that I have ever seen have ever been safe for me. They always involved being like expensively medically brutalized by reparative therapists, and sexually too, and all the other ways. The people who took me in were working class queers. They were the people who I had been told all my life hated me and wanted to steal my money because they were the have-nots. But it turned out that if I wanted my own clothes, or medical care, or a safe bed to sleep in, or art, I would be having what the have-nots were having. Nonetheless, this is still the part of our story where our plucky heroine arrives at Sarah Lawrence College, securing her tuition through dangerous transsexual feats of diplomacy, which are too hot for prime time. I arrived, I was fresh out of my trans boyfriend's stationary trailer on a hillside in Sedona, where I had fled to after being outed by the National Enquirer. It's a very long story. And when I went to pick an advisor, all I did was Google which of the poets were gay. And I ended up with a wonderful poet named Suzanne Gardner. I had fallen in love with a girl and resolved to get a sex change the same year that I resolved to become a poet. And I knew that if I could... Suzanne? I knew that if I could just get to an older gay poet and talk to them, then somebody would explain something to me. About why the laws of physics didn't seem to apply to my body or something, or maybe it was the laws of grammar, I couldn't figure it out. So you can imagine my relief when I got to class and I opened up The Complete Lover, which was the anthology Suzanne made for her students. Okay. And I read a long poem that was called A Woman is Talking to Death. I went back to this poem to prepare for this event, and I read the first line. I read Testimony and Trials That Never Got Heard, and I like collapsed on my couch, basically. It was like I was right there, I was 18 again, and coming straight out of all of that trauma. This woman is a lesbian, be careful. All that fear that I had been subjected to, all of those people's rage, because I didn't know, but they were angry at me because I was so powerful. That was why they were so angry. They were angry at me because the power, and I didn't know this, but the power, lesbian power is so big, it can contain so much. And I didn't know that that was true. I thought that I had to make myself small and not make myself part of that. And it would be a long time before I came to know Judy Grahn's other work on myths and on the power that we carry as queers on the outside of things, standing at the borders, not to guard them, but to make sure that the people can safely pass through. But with that poem, so much came to me, and I could actually receive it, which is funny, despite the fact that all my friends were dykes. That was where I laid my hat, always. I could actually drink from the fountain of this poem, even though I had to deny that part of myself so often. Even when my lesbianism was a wound in me that was so deep that nobody could touch it, this poem was like, you're not that stone. I'm a lesbian because of my good luck, because the working class dykes picked me up after I got thrown away. I'm a faggot now, but it isn't that I am both a lesbian and something else. It's that being lesbian was always already a part of my bothness, my outsider, insider, intimate knowledge in the kitchenness, my tendency to get in the way. I'm Edward the Dyke, and in my faggot incarnation, I'm the Queen of Swords, girl. A few weeks ago, I was moved to get this tattoo from this really beautiful man, and I couldn't tell quite why. I don't have many tattoos, but we knew all the same people, and I thought he was really cute, and I sort of thought, I have to get this tattoo. And when I picked up Eruptions of Inanna to prepare for this event, I was looking for, something about Inanna's transness, her cross-genderness, and I found this passage about how the star of evening is also the star of morning, and the Sumerian astrologers, they understood that it was the same star at different times in the day, and that it's because that the 8-pointed star is the symbol of Inanna, right? And
yes.
This is the tattoo and its 8-pointed stars. So now I know what that was all about. If you want a good tattoo, you can go to Christopher Martinez in Ridgewood. So I've given you both a Marxist and a mythical account of why I am a lesbian, but really, all I should have done is just stand here and look at you beautiful people, because my beautiful friend Elizabeth Koke invited me to read at the Judy Grahn Tribune, and I love This work has always held me. This work has always made me feel that I had nothing to explain, that instead I could just say thank you for touching my life at a time when it was too wounded almost to be touched at all. So that I nearly died of it, like a pet rat will do if you don't cuddle it, or get another pet rat that it can cuddle. I also learned that from the lesbian poets. Thank you for saying that I was allowed to write a poem. Thank you for helping me know that if poems can't be with their people, then they will die. When I eventually pursued poetry all the way to the academy, as at least several confused gay people have done, I found that the straight men there wanted several things, but they did not actually want the people to read their poetry. That was not part of it for them, which I was very confused by because I wanted people to read my poetry very badly. I think that when you read Judy Grahn's poems, you can feel how badly they want you as a reader. You can feel someone reaching out, trying to love some of the people who man the bellows of love, but are often missed in the recitation of love's names. What's the opposite of gender trouble? Gender pleasure. That's a joke I wrote. I am home here with all of you in this age where the people need our power more than ever, and there are a lot of people right now who want to lie and twist words to try to turn feminism into a story about who's allowed in and who has to stay in the cold, and how we're supposed to take care of our queer children. And we know exactly what the fuck we're gonna say to those people, right? Like, we know. So we're with Inanna, we're traveling all the way down, we're coming back with the poems in our hands. It has been so important to me in my life to call myself so many different things. But really, when I was 14, all I really should have said is, I'm not a girl, I'm a hatchet. And now, I'm gonna read the concluding part of A Woman is Talking to Death. Thank you so much for bringing me here. This is really a dream. Hey you, death. Ho and ho, poor death. Our lover's teeth are white geese flying above us. Our lover's muscles are rope ladders under our hands, even though no women yet go down to the sea in ships except in their dreams. Only the arrogant invent a quick and meaningful end for themselves of their own choosing. Everyone else knows how very slow it happens. How the woman's existence bleeds out her ears. How the child shoots up at 10 and is arrested and old. How the man carries a murderous shell within him and passes it on. We are the fat of the land, and we all have our list of casualties. To my lovers, I bequeath the rest of my life. I want nothing left of me for you, ho death, except some fertilizer for the next batch of us who do not hold hands with you, who do not embrace you, who try not to work for you or sacrifice themselves or trust or believe you, ho ignorant death. How do you know we happened to you? Wherever our meat hangs on our own bones for our own use, your pot is so empty. Death, ho death, you shall be poor.
Evening, Ira. Please welcome to the stage Tsarina and Stanley Roy. Oh, come on, clap for them, everyone. Tsarina and Stanley Roy.
Thank you so much for having us. We flew all the way from New Orleans. We're so proud to be doing this little medley of the She Who series.
I'm a princess, I have to adjust, excuse me. Vinsantos is my drag mother. You are beloved and on my, like, there's a little memento of and just a very special place. I have 4 altars of Judy because this one has gotten us all through some dark shit. But I'm going to save my voice and y'all bear with me.
a piece of shit. And she who bears it, she who bears it, because as queers for thousands of fucking years, it's all we've had to do is bear down and breathe. She who bears it, bear down and breathe. Bear down and breathe. Bear down and breathe. She who bears it. There is no other for slavery. Bear down and breathe.
Tsarina and Stephen Roy. I feel like we should just like take a moment. Bear down and breathe.
I'm gonna drink more wine now.
You deserve it. Cheers.
Drink down, breathe.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Drink down. A History of Lesbianism by Judy Grahn. How they came into the world, the women loving women, came in 3 by 3 and 4 by 4, the women loving women, came in 10 by 10 and 10 by 10 again until there were more than you could count. They took care of each other the best they knew how, and of each other's children, if they had any. How they lived in the world, the women loving women learned as much as they were allowed and walked and wore their clothes the way they liked whenever they could. They did whatever they knew to be happy or free and worked and worked and worked. The women loving women in America were called dykes, and some liked it and some did not. They made love to each other the best they knew how, and for the best reasons. How they went out of the world, the women loving women, went out one by one, having withstood greater and lesser trials, and much hatred from other people. They went out one by one, each having tried in her own way to overthrow the rule of men over women. They tried it one by one, and 100 by 100, until each came in her own way to the end of her life and died. The subject of lesbianism is very ordinary. It's the question of male domination that makes everybody angry. So Gregory told me to do 2 Judy Grahn poems and 1 thing of my own. Can I talk my shit, please? Well, we don't want to make anybody angry or anything, so please excuse. No, really, please excuse. See, I don't mean to be rude, and I'm not your average lady, and I sure ain't no dude. And you? See, wait, where's she at? Flo, you in here? Where'd you go? All right. So you are built like a fortress, and I like to intrude. Now, can I call you Nottingham? You can call me Sir Lancelot of Palace in your pants. I'll protect the entrance and British Guard. I'm entranced and wavering stance. Distraction is not an option. Steady my hands. You're not the princess to the castle, and I sure ain't no man, so queendom come when you're coming. Let me lay down my head. Between your walls, got them crumbling while your moat seeps in. My rhythm got you bumping, baby, do that dance. If I'm the wolf, my huffing puffing got cement sway in. My lungs linger on your brick house. I know the floor plan and ain't nobody inside, so baby, let me in. I promise I eat the sweet you got hidden inside, so call me Gretel with a sweet tooth that won't subside. So I seek and I find that you dig me a little. So won't you come on over here and make it jiggle a little. A good girl with some bad, I'm seeking the freak in you. You can hide all your life, I'll come and get it in this venue. May I continue? Oh. I'm a lesbian, y'all. And I traveled the country for 12 years with a poetry troupe called the Punani Poets. It came to fame on HBO's Real Sex in 2001. I joined in 2009. I was 28 years old, and Jessica Holter, the founder, my mentor, who I'm sure studied the work of Judy Grahn. Just listening in this room today, I'm like, oh my gosh, we have evoked so much of this spirit year after year. We did it year after year. And she dubbed me the lesbian laureate. And our demographic was mainly hetero. Yeah. Our high times are Valentine's Day and, you know, summer season. People were feeling frisky. We do a lot of shit. So I would say, I would open the show sometimes like this. This is lesbian licorice. I can only say this because Judy lives, I stand on her shoulders, you know what I'm saying? This is lesbian licorice. Twizzlers ain't making this. Straw like take a sip, bite a bit, then lick your lips. Grab a she who holds the key and enter in this mystery. Sultry, pulsating, purple feelings and emotions, leaving you open to explore this, the purple door with doorknob manipulation. You will be turned open and turned on. Turned out and in the most iridescent fashion. Guaranteed satisfaction as my diction-strapped tongue entices your woman to lap dance. An imitation of the multiple presentations given like orgasmic palpitations from beginning to the end of this event. And if this is sinful, then I've been so fooled, because your body seems heaven sent. And I just want to taste a little bit. Get an inkling of your scent, an aphrodisiac, what you attract to amplify my pen, take you through the purple door, initiate imagination, place you on your back for climax, got your curtain reaching. Climbing up the walls and bathroom stalls, stroking senses with this fiction, but I'm sure you're gonna want to straddle something in a minute. DJ spin it, create some friction. Show that woman what you're feeling so she can pay attention to the tension, as I mentioned, the momentum of the liquid you can swim in between her legs. Go ahead and dive in, or maybe just choose to drown and witness that woman shifting in her seat because she's aroused. Enter in the purple door. I'll be the gatekeeper. Welcome to Love's house. Where Judy said, Love rode 1,500 miles on a Greyhound bus and climbed in my window one night to surprise both of us. The pleasure of that sleepy shock has lasted a decade now or more, because she is always still doing it and I'm always still pleased. I do indeed like aggressive women. I do too. Who come half a continent just for me. I'm not saying that patience is virtuous. Love, like anybody else, comes to those who wait actively and leave their windows open. That was so much fun. Now I'd like to welcome everyone who performed back up to this stage area. And remember, this stage is small, so just come on up and hug the wall. And I'd also like to welcome Judy Grahn back to the stage.
All right, love the poet. Yes, indeed. Love the poet. This has just been so glorious for me. I don't know. Who am I now? I have proliferated, you can see. So I'm going to end our evening, according to Mr. Gregory, by, and Mr. Gregory, all right?
Yeah!
And this great venue, this is a fabulous venue. So this poem is called Mother's Fathers, and it's more recent than anything that's been on the stage so far. Mother's fathers, clasp the children, tie them to your breast, and beam like flashlights. Hold the children, praise them with buckets of raspberries, shiny as jelly, give them you. Show them they are green worthy as grass in rain, lofty as kite flying by the bay, sharp as sunrise after an ice storm. Grasp them, study their eyes, talk to them like kittens. Tell them they have the sturdy grace of deer, communal peace of stones, generosity of the sea, able, capable, and ready. Tell them they can learn to be happy, no matter what else is true. Mothers, fathers, grip the children with bare paws of glee. Press them to your hearts. Sing high into their precious ears. Drip strawberry down through their lives. Tell the sons they are ships and shores. Tell the daughters they are mountains and towns that will thrive 100 years. Say the world is sending them a ticket. They just need to find the train that's theirs. Oh, winds of change, gather the wounded boys and girls of all rages into your giant arms. Blow brotherly breath between their fierce sad eyes. Unclench their wish for motherly porridge. Pour fatherly tears of crooning through their bliss-hungry lips. And tell them this one truth. When we find or make that mother place, our vessels heal, contain no leaks, and all around us, love pours in. Red cells pulse, burning away bleakness. Red cells flash as curious, pretty fishes, spelling the words, "This is my darling life, and this is enough. This is my darling life, and this is enough. This is my darling life, and this is enough."
Let's all take a bow.